Spirit Essence Show 2.0. Finally back doing the mini interviews, bringing you all the people I love and adore, and even some I don't know if I love and adore yet, but I'm sure I will. Tonight, we are focusing on my new good friend, someone that I don't know very well, but I am getting to know her. If we keep doing these talks every time we get together for like an hour beforehand, I don't know what we're going to do, Courtney, but
I
I'd
don't
like to
know.
introduce you guys to the beautiful Courtney Dawson. She's an intuitive medium. She is a mentor for those looking to really do their hard work in leveling up their mediumship. And I'm just going to open the floor and say, Courtney, baby, hello.
Tara, thank you so much for having me, honey. It's so good to connect with you. And I mean, I feel like we're spending a lot of time getting to know one another, and it's great because there's definitely a kindred spirit connection there for sure.
I love it. I love it so much. And so, Courtney, let me tell you a little bit of what the purpose of this is. I
Mhm.
want people to get to know you. I want people who come on to YouTube or TikTok or whatever they follow me and they find a little blurb about you to be like, yes, if Tara likes her, we all are gonna like her. So, Courtney, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about who you are, what you do, kind of where you came from, baby?
Yeah, so I'm an evidential medium and a mediumship teacher, and I do private readings. I teach classes. I have an online school, The Connected Spirit, where I take everyday people who have this curiosity, this inner knowing within themselves, where they want to explore their spiritual gifts. And there's some fears, they have some blocks, they have some doubts. I help them unlock that and embrace who they truly are by embracing their spiritual gifts. And I help them do that in a way that is natural, holistic, without that cookie cutter approach. I really believe, like, at our core, we all have the ability to connect with spirit to varying degrees. And I want to be able to support people with that. I actually grew up in a Christian home, Tara. Parents were elders in the church,
Ooh.
heavily influenced by the Christian doctrine and faith. And ever since I was 3, like my earliest recollection, I've been seeing spirit and having very tangible experiences with them that left me with more questions than answers and trying to get support from my parents. They didn't really know how to support me. My mom had told me she'd asked this friend of hers, who was another elder in the church, "Hey, Courtney's seeing this person. She's having this experience. Like, what I do? What should I do? How can I help her?" And they said, "Well, Courtney's definitely seeing it in the spiritual realms. Just pray for her." So that's all I got was prayers.
Oh, well, at
And
least you got prayers, girlfriend. I came in, they sent me to a psychologist. They're like, this girl doesn't sleep. She hasn't slept since she was 4.
oh
What do we
no.
do?
And bless their hearts, it wasn't like my mom didn't try,
No.
but there was the prayer, and I mean, that was because of the faith, and it left me with, like, a ton of anxiety, and fast forward, it wasn't until I was 18 and my first husband and I had had a baby and she was stillborn that my abilities really awoke, and she stepped forward and was giving me direct communication where I was channeling her messages, which I still have in a binder. And her birthday is going to be her 25th birthday, will be next month. And she has supported me, throughout my journey. And there was some really dark times because I was having these abilities. I felt like I was tainted, felt like I was cursed, didn't know how to understand what was taking place, and I had no support. And for me, it was really, really a difficult time, and it really affected my self-worth so deeply. And so fast forward to when I was 30, I went through a divorce, and I was like, you know what? I need to get some answers. I need clarity. Something is going on. Something's got to change. And so when I just set out that intention, and we know when we work with the world of spirit, they answer that call, and they really did. And I was led to a spiritualist church, and within that community, I was able to connect with like-minded people, understand what my experiences were. I wasn't tainted, I wasn't cursed. These
Right?
were normal, super normal experiences, and I learned how to embrace my abilities. But more than that, Tara, I learned how to embrace myself and to love myself and to recognize that I'm worthy and that my life here has purpose and meaning. And that completely changed the course of my life. And I became so unwavering in my soul calling that no matter what happened in my life, I always allowed that guiding force within to lead me to the next steps. And through that whole process, I developed such a strong connection with myself and the world of spirit. Because let's face it, not everybody understands what we go through when we're having these mediumistic or even spiritual experiences. And honestly, the spirit world has been my saving grace so many times. And I know there's people out there that are like me. And if spirit can help me, if by embracing my abilities, I can find my true calling, not even about becoming a professional. That wasn't even what was even on the radar for me. That was
Fair
very much
enough.
guided by spirit. I just wanted to learn what these were about and how to manage them because they were definitely out of control. And spirit led me through it all. And I thought, my God, if I've gone through this, there's got to be other people. And interestingly enough, the spirit world has guided souls who have had similar journeys to me so I can help support them. Because we can have people who can have these experiences and have this knowledge, but to have somebody who's walked a similar path, that can help people feel so validated and seen in their own experiences and give them such a in insurmountable amount of validation and healing.
Okay, you are not wrong. I need to interrupt here for a second and say this. I'm listening to you, and I'm thinking to myself, what in the goddess's great name is going on here? For reference, everyone, my spiritual journey started when we lost a son at 6 months within me still.
Mm.
And my sister said, "You're gonna, Courtney, you're gonna giggle though. You're gonna giggle, even though that's a sad moment." You know, my sister said, "Go to the spiritualist church down the street." And literally, I went down to the spiritualist church down the street, and there was a medium there that came down the stairs. And I took my neighbor. I took my neighbor. And for those of you, my audience who's following me, you've heard the story about the chicken. You get to hear it again. And my neighbor came and we were going to go together. And my husband says, "Where are you going?" I said, "To the spiritualist church. I need to find something that, kind of helps me here a bit." And he says, "Don't drink the Kool-Aid." I was like, I didn't get it. I was like, why wouldn't I drink the Kool-Aid? So, oh, then haha. Then the next time I go, he says, "Are you taking the chicken?" I'm like, "A chicken, a sacrificial chicken." I said, "What do you think I'm going to, you silly goat?" Anyway, my point in this is that you are very, very correct in we have this moment. I'm a natural born medium. I realize that now, just like I'm sure you realize now, and
Yeah.
how much we were doing when we were younger, but it took this moment for us to really move into that space. And let me say this, it's because we are close in age, but literally, girlfriend, who is supporting this? Mediumship, intuitive development, tarot card reading, none of that was as prominent as it is now. And back then, even, and bless my mom, she's still with us. And to this day, when she found out that there was an energy exchange, there was a financial exchange sometimes between me and someone. I mean, and now that's how you book readings, that's how they do
Yeah.
courses. She was devastated. She thought people were going to judge me because back in her day, or back when I was little, that was like gypsy stuff. That was, curses and all
Yeah.
these things. And so she was like, "Oh my." And the other thing, I don't know if you experienced this, love. I'd love to hear your take on this, is that a lot of people thought that I was this one moment, and then suddenly I decided I was this. Where did this come from? What do you mean you suddenly see spirits and you suddenly do this stuff? And it wasn't sudden. It just was I decided to put it out there.
Totally.
Lost some
Totally.
friends, for sure I did.
100%, absolutely, because there's a lot of people that don't understand more than not the people that you come in contact with, your family, your friends, your coworkers, heck, even your children. Many of them are having spiritual experiences,
Mm.
having encounters with the unseen. They don't understand it. There's shame, there's fear, there's all kinds of mixed emotions. People don't talk about that. And now it's become more mainstream. And so we're able to put words and voice our experiences without fear of, my God, being burned at the stake. Because literally that was happening. Let's talk about that. I mean, it was
Oh,
happening, right? We're so blessed that we are able to speak our truth, to demonstrate life is eternal, and also really embody what our soul and our soul gifts came here to do, and to be unapologetic in that without fearing like prosecution or even death. Like it sounds extreme, but honey, that was happening not too long ago. I mean, if we
For
look at Helen
real?
Duncan, she was getting imprisoned back in the early 1900s, right? 1940s.
And
So, I
I
mean,
think there's actually still a law. I don't know if it's in Canada or the United States that I think it's Canada actually, that a witch can
the
be.
Witchcraft Act.
Yeah. I'm like, "Oh, oh, heaven sakes, people, don't let me have to get my broomstick and cauldron out." But with all due respect, you are not wrong in anything that you're saying. It is much more mainstream right now. It is maybe even in a way because I truly believe, and I think you touched on this a second ago. I truly believe that we are all psychics and we're all mediums.
Yep,
It does not mean that we're all meant to do the work. It does not mean
100%.
that we'll all hit that vibration, and there's people that come into my mentorship programs and I vet my mentorship programs and I'll say to them, okay, here's what I can offer you, but here's what you have to do. And if you can't get there, then this isn't the path for you. Let's look at a different avenue for you, right? Because again, this has become a little bit, and I'd love to talk to you about this, a little bit of a fad right now. There is a lot of people claiming this for the wrong reasons. Quick buck. Let me read your tarot cards, quick buck,
Yep,
right?
absolutely. And I mean, you just go on social media. That's the biggest form of communication nowadays, right?
You
Look
need
on
to go
your
on
social.
TikTok if you want to see what people, I mean, holy sweet jumping Jehoshaphat. What the heck?
Yeah, there's a lot of garbage out there. And sadly, there are so many people that are vulnerable right now. There are people that are going through health crisis, experience the loss of a loved one, that are going through, physical or mental or emotional trauma, and they're seeking help and support. And where's the first place people go? They go to social media. And there are people who have just enough knowledge to be dangerous. And they attack these vulnerable people and prey on them, and that's what they do. And it really angers me, and it really weighs heavy on my heart because there are people that really need support, and those few people that are out there are making people like you and I, who have high standards, have a very high moral compass, and are very ethical in all of our interactions with the seen and unseen. It it gives a bad light to the work we do. And even in the work that I do, there's still some people that don't necessarily believe in all of it. I don't care if people believe in it or not. I think skepticism's healthy, but I
Mhm.
think if you're a cynic, then I can't work with you. If you're
Yeah.
skeptic, no problem. But if you're cynic, honey, go somewhere else because there won't be an energy exchange here.
We were talking about this in my podcast with Nancy Brady the other night. We were talking about ethics and we were talking about ethics both ways. Ethics
Yeah,
for paying to get a reading and ethics, for giving a session. And we were really big about the don't test the medium. Don't test
yeah,
the medium. Don't come in there like that because then your intention is not the right intention. And I read for every type of religion, every type of individual. There is no one religion that has not come to me for a session. So whether they believe or not is not necessarily the issue. I am here to provide the evidential mediumship or whatever it is they need. Maybe they just need me to pull some cards to calm
yeah,
their hearts, whatever it is. But I'm here to be of service for the highest and best of the individual, which is my contract to spirit.
yes,
Spirit, I am an empath. I am a bull in a china shop. Do not give me so much stuff that I can not do the work. You want me to be a pure conduit, and I'm a good conduit. I will be good conduit for you. Come through and allow me to give it easily and effortlessly. But
yep.
then once it's come from spirit is the giver, I'm the conduit, the client is the receiver. Once it's received, it's no longer mine.
100%. And I always say too, when I'm teaching my students, you're only responsible for how you give the information. You're not responsible for how people receive it or what they do with it.
Yeah, perception is everything. And
Yeah.
so, on that note, do you want to just talk a little bit, just really quickly, about your ethical mediumship class or course that you teach students? What does
Yeah.
that kind of sound like for someone that might be interested?
Yeah, absolutely. So, 3 times a year, I teach a course called Ethical Mediumship Foundations. It's a 12-week course that is open for people with zero experience to people who have been dabbling or working with their mediumistic abilities for some time, but really want to strengthen their abilities and have a strong foundation. So, this is a course where we're going to teach you, and I have pillars on how I teach. So, I feel like the first step, before we can even connect to the world of spirit, we have to be able to understand our own essence and our own energy. And so, we develop that relationship with self. And then we learn all about energetics because everything we do in mediumship, Tara, and you know this, it's all about energetics. So we look at our own energy, the energy of the spirit communicator, how to move into the power, how to sustain that power, and then how we connect with the world of spirit. We look at, the structure of a reading. How do we give a message? I mean, we talk a little bit about the clairs, but I don't focus so much on them. I really embody the philosophy that we are channels for spirit. Spirit knows what they want to bring through. And if we are open and in this passive receptive state and are aware of our senses and describe the experience, is actually very evidential. We don't have to I think too many teachers overcomplicate mediumship, Tara. I do. So
Yeah.
I bring it through in a very easy to digest step-by-step process where people go through my course and they come through and they're able to make a contact with the spirit world, bring through evidence with ease and grace. And many of the students have gone on to work at some of my events, and two of them are now actually teachers for my school.
Oh, I love that. I love that. You know what's interesting? I'm going to be honest with you, is that mediumship is one of those things that I feel like there's a few different ways in mediumship. There's the evidential mediumship. There's the trance channeling. We won't get into that. That's a whole ball game for another talk. But automatic, right? Conscious channeling. There's different ways you can do it. Not everything has to be necessarily evidential mediumship. Mediumship is the true form of any spiritual metaphysical work because energy work, healing, all comes from spirit using you as the channel. But when you were talking about that, I was so excited because that is the way I teach.
Oh, is that right?
Absolutely. I start right
Okay.
from the top and say we need to look at ourselves. We need to see where we are within our own selves. What have we done to stabilize and sit in our power? How do we feel that we can move up and energetically? But the biggest thing, and I feel like, again, I feel like I'm jaded. I feel like I'm old school at this stuff. My thing is now, if you don't trust the process, you're not going to do anything. So if you
100%.
cannot move into trusting the process, you can sit in your power all day long, baby. But if you are not trusting what's coming through, then you're not going to be
Absolutely.
that process. So my teachings tend to fall into the aspect of, and you're going to laugh at this, know your role.
Girl, this is why I love you. We're on the same
See?
page.
Know your role.
Absolutely. As mediums, developing mediums, I think we're always developing because there's always something new to learn. That's why I love mediumship. You can never get bored. The spirit world always keeps it interesting. But I truly believe like our role as a medium is to be the storyteller, to be the channel, however that information comes through. The spirit changes how they work with me frequently.
Yeah.
I feel and I hear those are my predominant, but if, recently in the last month, they're doing automatic writing now in some of my private one-to-ones. Is that still evidential? Well, yes, because when I read to my clients how, they're seeing this take place, I keep my eyes closed and just because that keeps me in the zone. And I read back to them what's written and it gives specific information. They're like, oh my God. I said, we just let spirit take the lead. That's it. That's all you got to do. Don't overcomplicate it. It's not about you, honey. It's about you being the messenger.
I'm going to share something with you, and then we're going to go into the last question. That's going to make you laugh. I had I do mentorship as well, but the girl, the woman, the girl, everyone's a girl to me. Uh,
Yeah.
that was with me. She had to get up and let her dog out. And so I was channeling, we were talking about spirit guides, et cetera, et cetera. And I was channeling and I was automatic writing. I've got it right here because it makes me laugh to this day. And I wrote down, and I don't know if anyone can see this, I wrote down, know your role. And then you're going to, I started to write the word stupid. And half the way through, I stopped and I was like, know your role, stoop? I was like, what is that? And literally, I was writing the word stupid. And I was like, spirit. And I don't know where that came from. I don't know if it was ego, if it was a extra mark on the end of it, and it wasn't dedicated towards anyone. But I thought, what a strong way to end that message, though.
Yeah.
Trust the process. Know your role. Why I wrote stupid at the end of it, I don't know, but I trust spirit, and so it felt
Yeah.
like it had to be there. I stopped at the STPU or STUP, and I was like, am I really writing the word stupid? I was like, oh my God. But if you don't trust, you can't do. And if you're
100%.
worried about being judged, if you're worried about expectations, You're not in your power,
Yep.
and that takes practice. So,
Absolutely.
on that note, my beautiful, beautiful new bestie, tell me, where do you see yourself, gorgeous, in 5 years? What does your spiritual journey look like? What do you think, feel, know in five
What do
years?
I feel? I feel from what the spirit world has shared with me, glimpses of what they've given me. There's definitely going to be more travel and sharing evidential mediumship, but not just that, but teaching it. I really am in spirit, and I are really together on this mission, if you will, to normalize mediumship, normalize the conversation regarding it. There's so much woo woo and esoteric stuff around it.
Yeah.
And I just, that works for some people. For me, I feel if we keep it that way, it keeps it at a distance where there's some people who are not into that, but are into or curious about spirit communication, that they would be more open to it. And I truly believe that every single person can benefit from learning mediumship, either to connect for their own personal development, to connect to their
Yes.
spirit guides, to connect to their loved ones, to be of service, to help other people by channeling those message. I mean, sadly, at some point, we're all going to benefit from mediumship because we are going to experience the loss of a loved one. And to be able to comfort the bereaved is an honor and privilege above any other, I think, besides being a parent. I love being a parent, but to do that is incredible. And so I really see definitely more of bringing the classes and the teaching on a bigger scale. Whatever else spirit's got going on, I'm not too sure, but definitely the online school form is expanding for sure.
Oh, let's do it. Let's do it. And I will say this, having lost not only a child very early on, but one recently within, 7, 8 months, uh, being attuned to spirit has helped me more,
Mhm.
helped me in my very humanness
Mhm.
grieving, because you have to do the humanist stuff. You can't just fade off to spirit, which we'd love to. It'd be easy. You
Yeah.
can't do that. I'm telling you, the gift of spirit, and I mean this, has allowed me to move through with grace and to hold space not only for myself but for others that are suffering with the loss of Ryan. And there's many. This is not a small thing. So I really feel that learning it for yourself even doesn't always have to be about energy exchanges. It doesn't have to be about us all. It's about bringing the collective together. It's about bringing this beautiful energy. And if the lights like you and I keep shining as bright as we want to, because you have to want to, we don't need to. We
Yeah.
don't need to shine this bright. We want to shine this bright because there's a lot of people that can do the work that choose not to do it.
Yeah.
We want
Absolutely.
it. We are in it. We're in it for the long haul. And on that note, I'm going to say to you, Courtney, it's a pleasure.
Oh,
I can't
thank
tell
you.
you how excited I am to have finally made that connection. My good Lord, it's not like you're in another country than me, for heaven's sakes. You're only 2 towns away. Um, but I look forward to the work that we will do together. I look forward to seeing others come and connect with you and do the work with you. We have many teachers, everyone. To my spirit essence gang, there are many teachers out there, and you can have your core and then you can dabble,
Yeah.
but there's something to be learned from everyone. And I would highly recommend people to step out of their comfort zone, go and look up Courtney, tell everyone how they can find you, love.
You can find me through my website, mediumcourtneydawson.com, or you can find me on all my socials: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at Medium Courtney Dawson. And I've got a podcast called The Connected Spirit, available on all streaming platforms. Yeah.
Okay, so make sure that you go and like Courtney's podcast, give it 5-star review, go and like Spirit Angels and Guides. Oh my, Nancy and I's podcast, give us a 5-star review. We want all the good stuff happening so more people can connect to us, more people can feel the love and light and the connection that Spirit has. Courtney, again, my heart to yours, baby.
Thank you so much, love.